My younger brother Mark fizzed with excitement when, on the morning of his ninth birthday, he discovered that one of the three presents he was about to receive was shaped very much like it might be Hoodwink's Folly. Today was a muggy autumnal Wednesday in late 1983, and solid clouds had descended from the sky to hug the ground around our cottage in Hindfleet Edge. Our tiny village sat in a heavily wooded part of the South Downs about 10 miles from Guildford, boasting 12 cottages, a small church, a shop, and a pub. Most people would drive straight through our little corner of the world on the way to somewhere else, barely registering the village slow sign, often obscured by ambitious thorny hedgerows. The Elmstone family, my family, were sitting at the square table in the kitchen. The bell to mark the start of the school day was still an hour away. To get us there, Mum would drive us 2 miles to Lightmead, the nearest village, and drop us off outside its humble gates. Plenty of time for presents then. Mark sat opposite me, bouncing on his chair with enthusiasm, both of us with a bowl of Frosties in front of us, not yet drowned in milk. Dad, smart for work, was to my left, his breakfast plate moved to one side, with a burnt corner of toast on it, and Mum was delicately slicing a banana in its peel. I was 11 then and receiving £1 of pocket money per week. I'd saved up to buy Mark a present and arrived for breakfast, hiding it behind my back, and then sliding it into my lap as I sat down. But now I reached between the family-sized Frosties and cornflakes boxes and gave it to him. Happy birthday, bruv. Thanks, Andrew. He tore into the shiny Star Wars wrapping. I'd got him a Rubik's Cube. When he saw what it was, he said, thanks. He wrestled the cube out of its clear plastic packaging, the type with the hole at the top that they used to hang it on those long hooks that pointed at you in the toy shop. He twisted it a few times to mess up the coloured squares. Then he put it down. Apart from moving it to one of the shelves in his bedroom, it was the last time he touched it. I know because I borrowed it later to learn how to complete it myself, and he never asked for it back. That was because there was another present that he really wanted, and it was at the bottom of the pile in front of Dad. Mark kept looking at the box. It was the biggest, widest present, and it would be opened last, which pretty much proved that it would be that much coveted item. Mum said to Dad, Stephen, don't keep him in suspense. Give him that top one. Dad made a bit of a show of it, handing it over with a ceremony like it was some rare gift that had been transported back from inside one of the Egyptian pyramids. It turned out to be a pack of horror top trumps. Turning the pack over in his hand and examining it closely, Mark shouted, Ace! Dad was usually able to wring humour out of things, sometimes inappropriately, Mum would say, but to my 11-year-old eyes, he seemed like a good man. He worked hard, getting up at 5 o'clock every morning to drive to the mainline station in Guildford to take the train into central London, where he was head of accounts at an oil company. Even when he got home at 7 in the evening, he still sometimes had work to do in his small office at the back of the house. Mostly, we only had Dad to ourselves at weekends. Despite the pressures of his job, he had arranged to go into work late today so that he could open presents with his youngest son at the breakfast table. Then, with slightly less pomp and circumstance, he passed Mark a squidgy present, which, from what I could tell from a slight flicker in his eyes, Mark thought might be boring. He opened it and his eyes lit up. So it was actually not that bad. It was a Superman 2 t-shirt that had a photo of Christopher Reeve's most famous character standing, arms folded, in his icy fortress of solitude. Can I wear it to school? Under my uniform? I can show it to... Dad, in the middle of a slug of tea, gave a snort into his mug. The irony was not lost on him. Clark Kent can wear stuff under his clothes, but I'm afraid I can't allow you to. Mum laughed. The kitchen table wasn't that big, so he gathered up the discarded wrapping paper so that Mark could turn his attention to the main event. Dad slid it over, smiling. Unable to conceal a grin, Mark ripped the paper away from the square box to reveal that familiar image, the one he'd seen on the television, on the back of his Whizzer and Chips comic, and in the window of Woolworths 1,000 times. Hoodwink's Folly. Ace! Thanks, Mum. Thanks, Dad. Can we play it now? I didn't get an ace. I got a thanks. Even the top trumps got an ace. Mum said through half-munched banana, "You can play it when you get home." And we did. Mark didn't hold back talking about his favourite birthday present at school to anyone who would listen. Not that he had been the first to get the game. He'd been unable to conceal his jealousy when Noah's dad got it for him 2 months ago on release day, with neither a birthday nor Christmas in sight. Mark wouldn't stop following Noah around the playground like he was some sort of celebrity. After school, my friend from 3 doors down, Sean Fletcher, called round to see if I wanted to go and kick a ball on the field behind our row of cottages. I said I'd promised to play Hoodwink's Folly with Mark, as it was his birthday. Then, as an afterthought, I leaned back around the door to ask my brother if Sean could play too.